Welcome to the Benzano Podcast, what we're calling a spade a spade. Great to be here with you guys today. Nobody cares. Go home. It just dawned on me this morning, folks. You think if the NBA was 2 months away from starting their season, the NBA that's in bed with Disney, ABC, ESPN, that they wouldn't tell their networks to start talking about their league to get the word out to the public of what's going on? You don't think they'd start pushing propaganda because they have so much money to lose?
The WNBA season is just 2 months away, yet there's almost total silence from ESPN, ABC, and Disney. Major sports shows haven't said a word about the upcoming CBA negotiations. Not Stephen A. Smith. Not Colin Cowherd. No one. This doesn't feel like a simple oversight. It feels like the league has been pushed aside. Even with Caitlin Clark bringing record attention and new energy, the networks that benefit from covering pro sports aren't building buzz or shaping the conversation around the WNBA's future. That lack of attention sends a worrying signal. It suggests the league may not be seen as valuable enough to fight for. And if that's true, even a star as powerful as Clark may not be able to carry the league through what's ahead. Time is running out, and the momentum feels like it's fading fast.
Out to the public of what's going on? You don't think they'd start pushing propaganda because they have so much money to lose if there's no season? If there's no NBA season, ESPN loses drastically. ABC, drastically. Disney, drastically. NBC, big money they lose. But why aren't they doing that with the WNBA? Why aren't they so worried and concerned that propaganda needs to be put out there to save the WNBA season, to put some pressure out there publicly? The only pressure we see are from content creators. We got...
A former Major League Baseball executive, David Samson, has issued a blunt warning to WNBA players. Take the deal. Samson, who once served as president of the Miami Marlins, made it clear that any agreement will happen on the owner's terms. In his view, a deal that doesn't strongly favor ownership simply won't get done. He isn't framing this as a negotiation strategy. He's calling it the hard truth of how pro sports operate. According to him, if players refuse to compromise and a strike follows, they risk losing significant income and could end up returning to the table later in a weaker position with fewer options.
Mainstream media, your Stephen A. Smiths, your Colin Cowherds, First Take, Jason Whitlock, First Things First with Nick Wright. As far as shows like that are concerned, they haven't uttered a single syllable about the WNBA and what's going on with CBA negotiations. Almost as if they just don't care. Almost as if the air is completely let out of the balloon. Now, I know Nick Wright yesterday talked about the most popular basketball stars currently going on, and Caitlin Clark's name got brought up, but that was Caitlin Clark's name, nothing about the WNBA.
Samson was direct and blunt. He said many team owners feel the excitement around the league has faded. In their view, the spark just isn't there like it used to be. He also believes a lot of players are living in a bubble. They're holding on to an old idea of how things work, while the financial side of the sport has changed in a big way. According to Samson, owners see a very different reality, one where money is tight and the gap between one true superstar and everyone else is huge. This wide gap in how players and owners see the situation is the main reason talks have stalled. Both sides are looking at the same league, but seeing two completely different pictures, and that's what's keeping them stuck.
Not too much to lose if there's no WNBA season. The conversations that a league like, if the NFL was months away from a lockout and the season was about to start, you think ESPN would be quiet about an NFL lockout? Not one bit. Let's get right into it. Please like the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. We have a former Major League Baseball executive sending out a warning to the WNBA players. The league's not going to take this.
From the owner's point of view, it's all about the Caitlin Clark effect versus everyone else. Samson went as far as calling Caitlin Clark the WNBA's one true stimulus package. He said a star like her doesn't come along often, maybe once in a generation. Looking at 30 years of league history, this kind of massive spotlight and drawing power is rare, not something the league can count on happening again soon. That's why owners see this moment as a huge opportunity, but they also know it could slip away fast. If a deal isn't reached quickly and Clark misses games because of a lockout, the damage could be serious. In their eyes, losing her even for part of the season could wipe out the biggest surge of attention and growth the league has ever had.
To the WNBA players, the league's not going to take this. If there is a deal that is proposed that does not favor the league, that does not benefit the league is not going to take this. The owners need to, the players need to understand that. The players need to realize that. The owners aren't going to take this deal. Let's see what David Sampson has to say. Former executive warns WNBA deal only happens on owners' terms. Former executive.
On the other side, the players' union has pushed for major changes, but owners still say the numbers don't work. At first, there were reports that the union wanted 40% to 50% of total league revenue. Many people in business circles saw that as far too high. While those exact figures were never officially confirmed, they showed just how wide the gap was at the start. Since then, the union has lowered its demands. The request reportedly dropped to 31%, and then to an average of about 27.5% of total revenue, starting at 25% in the first year. They also reduced their proposed salary cap to under $9.5 million, down from an earlier $10.5 million target. Even with those cuts, owners believe the numbers are still too high to make financial sense.
Please take this message seriously, he explained during the Nothing Personal with David Sampson podcast. Talked about this podcast over at the venue earlier today. He also mentioned in this podcast that if you're the players and you're the owners, well, the owners see that the air is falling out of the balloon. You guys understand. The owners see that a lot of the excitement around the league has dwindled. The owners see that. The players are stuck in their own little balloon, their own little bubble. They think it's all roses and daisies outside still. The owners see a different picture. They see the killing.
Even with the union lowering its demands, owners say the math still doesn't add up. Based on the union's latest proposal, owners project they would lose about $460 million over the full length of the deal. That number alone is why talks remain stuck. From their point of view, this isn't about trying to win a negotiation. It's about survival. They believe they can agree to terms that would lock them into years of heavy losses. To them, the gap between what players want and what the league can realistically afford is still far too wide.
Words, the players are clueless. They want something that they're not entitled to. Still, the latest counter proposal from the players' union reflects movement. The Players Association lowered its revenue sharing request to an average of roughly 27.5% of gross league revenue, beginning at 25% in year one, alongside a proposed salary cap below $9.5 million. That marks a significant step down from the union's earlier ask of 31% gross with a $10.5 million cap. Now I'm going to say this because I did hear about Nneka Ogwumike and the 50% and the 40%. Let's just have two separate thoughts. Let's say what Nneka is saying is true. Well, going from
Another big issue is how revenue is defined. Players want one-time payments, like expansion fees, relocation fees, and upfront broadcast bonuses to be included as part of regular, ongoing revenue. Owners strongly disagree. Sampson argued firmly that these are one-off payments, not steady income you can rely on year after year. He said building a long-term deal around money that won't repeat simply doesn't make business sense. In his view, the more the union pushes to count those one-time boosts as normal operating income, the less likely a deal becomes. At its core, this fight over what counts as real revenue is one of the main reasons negotiations are stalled.
50%, 40% is the first time I've seen it. And I like to say I've been following this pretty closely, wouldn't you say? We've all been following this pretty closely. Shout out to everybody who comes and supports the channel. Like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate it all. Have we heard 50% from the players? Have we heard 40% from the players? So is Aneka Ogunke just making up numbers that weren't reported? Oh, suddenly Annie Constable, oh, she missed that one update. Oh, Alexa Philippou, she missed that one update. Oh, the convenient update that makes the players look like they came down 10 to 20%, depending on what number you listen to. We just happened to miss that update.
The show's host agreed with Sampson and didn't hold back. He called the players' revenue-sharing request unrealistic. Even the reduced 27.5% demand, he argued, is still too high. In his view, owners might stretch a little, but players would need to lower their ask in a big way, possibly below 20%, maybe even closer to 17%. His message was clear: small tweaks won't fix this. A major reset in expectations is needed if both sides want to close the gap and protect the league's future. At the same time, there is a huge upside for players if a deal gets done. Under the league's proposal, the 2026 salary cap could rise to about $5.65 million, up from roughly $1.5 million in 2025. Maximum total pay, including revenue sharing, could reach around $1.3 million in 2026 and climb near $2 million by 2031. That's a massive jump compared to the 2025 Supermax salary of $249,000 and an average rookie salary of about $120,000. For players willing to compromise, the potential earnings could be life-changing. Housing is another sticking point. Players want guaranteed housing, which sounds simple on surface. But for owners already projecting heavy losses, it's another added cost. When they're refusing to count one-time payments as steady revenue, every new expense becomes harder to accept. This request, combined with high financial demands, adds more strain to already tense talks. And time is running out. With the season getting closer, pressure builds every day. More compromise from the Players Association may be unavoidable. Sampson believes owners are unlikely to move much from their position, especially given their financial outlook and the history of labor disputes in sports often ending on ownership's terms. The longer players stick to demands owners call unrealistic, the closer the league moves toward a lockout. That could cost an entire season and waste the huge momentum created by Caitlin Clark. One of the strangest parts of this situation is the silence from ESPN about the WNBA's labor talks. Clark's name comes up often in basketball conversations, but usually on its own, not tied to the league's serious contract dispute. That separation sends a message. The network seems to treat her as a star attraction, while giving little attention to the league's bigger fight for stability. David Sampson was blunt. He said players don't fully grasp how the business side works, especially since many WNBA teams are owned by NBA groups. In his view, their demands, especially counting one-time fees as steady revenue, show a misunderstanding of basic business principles. Owners feel the union is negotiating from emotion instead of focusing on long-term financial reality, and that makes a deal harder to reach. The difference compared to other leagues is striking. If the National Football League were close to losing a season, coverage would be non-stop. Major networks like ABC and NBC would flood the airwaves because billions of dollars would be at risk. With the WNBA, the quiet response suggests the financial stakes for broadcasters are much lower. If games disappear, they can simply air something else. When owners say the air is completely out of the balloon, they mean they believe the league's overall energy and growth are fragile. While Clark has brought real excitement, they don't think that alone can support what they see as unsustainable financial demands. From the owner's side, this isn't just about taking advantage of a hot moment. They see it as a chance to rebuild the league's financial system in a way they believe can last, even after the current buzz fades. There's no question that Caitlin Clark has brought attention the league has never seen before. New fans are watching. Media coverage has grown. But if a lockout keeps her off the court for part or all of next season, or worse, drives her away, that momentum could disappear overnight. This isn't only about missed games. It's about losing a rare chance to take the league to a whole new level. That's why the pressure to accept a deal is so strong. Turning it down could mean wasting the biggest opportunity in league history. The money gap is still huge. The league's plan sets the 2026 salary cap at about $5.65 million. Players are asking for a figure under $9.5 million. That nearly $4 million difference in one season adds up to tens of millions over the life of the deal. This isn't a small detail. It's a basic disagreement over how much the league can afford to spend and still stay healthy. Closing that gap will take much more than small adjustments. Moving from 27.5% to 26% or 25% revenue sharing doesn't solve the core issue for owners who expect major losses. Voices like David Sampson and Mark Cuban share the same view. Players must lower their financial expectations in a serious way and approach this like a long-term business decision. Otherwise, there may be no agreement at all. If the players, their union, and stars like Clark truly want to make the most of this moment, the time for hard compromise is now. The players are staring at a hard reality. Owners say they are not bluffing. Their financial forecasts show heavy losses under the current demands, and they refuse to approve a deal that locks them into the red. At the same time, major networks have shown little urgency, which only strengthens the owner's position. The surge of interest sparked by Caitlin Clark has created a rare opening, but that window won't stay open for long. The league's growth, its long-term future, and the earning power of every player are all on the line. Right now, the WNBA faces a clear choice: agree to terms owners believe are sustainable, or risk losing the momentum it has worked so hard to build. The quiet from broadcasters, the repeated warnings from executives, and the wide financial gap all lead to the same point. Clark has shown what the league could become, but without real compromise, that spark could fade. This isn't just a contract dispute. It's a defining moment that could shape whether the league moves forward or slips backward and misses its best chance at lasting success.